In an ancient coastal city, shimmering under the clear sky, a venerable stone lighthouse stood tall on its outskirts. For centuries, this beacon had sent its golden rays to guide the ships of returning sailors and arriving adventurers. At the top of the tower, alone save for the echo of the wind and the whisper of the waves, lived the lighthouse keeper. Among the narrow alleys and the closely packed houses of the city lived a young fisherman named Jonah. Jonah had been captivated by the sea since his childhood, spending his days in the heart of the waves, returning with the sunset and his boat laden with bounty. The lighthouse's light was his constant companion on his return journeys, a trustworthy point of light that dispelled the darkness and guided him towards the safe shore. One day, while Jonah was sailing far from the coast, venturing beyond the familiar waters in search of a plentiful catch, the face of the sky suddenly changed. Strong winds began to rage, and towering waves rose like mountains, turning the calm sea into a furious beast. Jonah found himself in the heart of the storm, his small, sturdy wooden boat tossed about by the waves as the wind plays with a leaf. With all his might, Jonah tried to control the helm, struggling against the overwhelming power of nature. But the waves were stronger and the winds more violent. Despair began to creep into his heart, and the specter of the end loomed in the dark horizon. In a moment of weakness, Jonah lifted his eyes towards the distance, and between the blackness of the night and the spray of the rain, he saw a faint glimmer of the lighthouse's light. That distant light was like a flame of hope in his despairing heart, and a hidden strength coursed through his veins, urging him to cling to his battered boat with all his might. Guided by that single light that pierced the darkness of the sea, Jonah fought with renewed vigor to steer his boat towards safety. As Jonah fought the crashing waves, his eyes fixed on the lighthouse's light, he began to notice a strange pattern in that glow. It was not steady as he was accustomed to, but flickered intermittently and irregularly, as if it were a secret language in the heart of the storm. Jonah was puzzled by this sudden change, and doubt and anxiety gripped him. But suddenly, Jonah remembered his childhood lessons, the tales of old sailors about a secret system of light signals, a silent language used in emergencies. Jonah began to focus all his attention on that intermittent flashing, trying to decipher its codes in his troubled mind. After moments of anticipation, Jonah managed to read the hidden message. The signal clearly said, "Eastward direction, safe bay exists, wind speed gradually decreasing." Jonah followed that faint signal amidst the raging storm, steering his battered boat eastward with all the strength and determination he had left. After long hours of bitter struggle, Jonah finally found himself in a small, calm bay, surrounded by high rocks that sheltered him from the force of the storm. Jonah miraculously survived certain death, and the next morning, having regained his strength, he headed straight for the tall lighthouse to thank the keeper who had saved his life. The surprise was astonishing when Jonah learned that the old lighthouse keeper had been deaf and mute since birth, unable to communicate with the outside world through speech or hearing. Jonah realized then that this silent guardian had been using the ancient system of light signals instinctively, perhaps learned through heritage or long practice, to save the lives of lost sailors in the heart of the sea. Jonah's heart was filled with a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation towards that silent keeper and the lighthouse's light that had brought him back to life. Jonah learned an everlasting lesson: that true communication does not always require spoken words, and that sincere and noble actions can be more eloquent and impactful than any speech. Jonah understood that apparent solitude does not always mean true separation from the world, and that the person who seems isolated may be the savior and deliverance in the darkest and most difficult times. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, Leave a like and subscribe for more.